This is Tom here with Will from Artificial Brain. Will, say what's up.
Hey, what's up, man?
So, we're sitting down here in Philadelphia getting ready to kick off the pre-show for the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest across the way at the Barbary with Die Choking, Fear On, and Artificial Brain. And, Infrared Horizon just coming out now. What do you guys have to say about that?
It's real exciting. We're getting good responses. We're getting good reviews. Me personally, I'm just happy because I'm working with a really good team of musicians and a great label, and Colin Marston's a good producer, man. I mean, I don't mean to sugarcoat things, but things are working out really good for us, and we're getting really good feedback. And it's nice to enjoy all the support we're getting from the underground scene. Things are just really good, man. It's humbling.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been on Profound Lore. It's your second release with Profound Lore now, correct?
Yep.
It's a label like that, seems to, a little dark and mysterious. I don't know if I'd consider you guys dark, but, heavy and mysterious, and like the futuristic aspect, especially the really cool album art you guys got to go along with it. I think it matches the music really, really, really well.
Yeah, Adam Burke painted that. He did a Vector record that we saw. That's kind of how that touched off me. Yeah, we're really, really happy with the artwork, and I know what you mean, because a lot of the Profound Lore bands, I don't know if we necessarily tie in aesthetically with them. We would love to play shows with all those bands and everything, but yeah, like lyrically and artistically, maybe there's something a little different. But I think where it comes from too is that working with Profound Lore, Chris from Profound Lore is very open-minded, and he's very focused. He knows what he likes, he knows what he doesn't like, he knows what he wants to put out, and whatever it was, we struck a chord with him, And I think if you listen to our music, especially maybe in the guitars and the songwriting, there is kind of that dissonant darkness there. It's just every Profound Lore band probably does their own take on it.
So, I mean, I know you guys are from, out on Long Island, and,
yes,
just because it's been out in the news lately, I mean, when you hear about the drummer from Internal Bleeding and, what transpired with him, I mean, a real hero in life and in, music. I mean, just wonder if, did you know him well, or what his influence was?
Well, I wasn't a close personal friend of Bill Tolley, but, I was a few years younger than him, and I grew up in the underground scene on Long Island watching Internal Bleeding for years, for 20 years now. And I always looked up to Internal Bleeding because they were the band that waved the flag for Long Island death metal and for slam death metal, and those guys were always cool to me and to a lot of the other people from my generation that were younger than them coming up, man. So it's a tremendous loss, and it's not just a loss of a local underground metal hero. As he said, the guy was a New York City firefighter. He was a volunteer firefighter in his hometown, Long Island, and he died in the line of duty. So that there's a lot of levels to this, and a lot of people are upset, man. I'll keep it 100% real with you. This morning, I was looking through on YouTube some old Internal Bleeding live videos, and I hadn't listened to Final Justice, the song and video that they premiered yesterday, because it's emotional, man. I was waiting to do that. And that just kind of came on after the video I was watching. I said, here we go, I'm watching it, man. I watched it, and it was emotional for me, man. I'll tell you, I did tear up a little bit watching that, and watching this guy play drums in his last music video, and thinking about everything, man. But I'm glad I did, man. It's inspirational. With something like this, you just got to take inspiration from it, and you got to try to appreciate what you got. You got to, it made me appreciate my own bandmates and my own music and the people that come to our shows, and it reminds you, the Infrared Horizon album's doing great right now, and it's a blessing. But at the end of the day, if the label dropped us and no one was coming to shows, we'd still have that camaraderie, and we'd still be playing death metal no matter what, man. And that's what it's all about. It's an underground community. So, without going on too much of a tangent, man, yeah, that hit me really, really personally and really close to home. And I'm pretty good friends with Joe, the most recent, the new singer of Internal Bleeding, and Chris, the guitarist. They're kind of like younger guys from my generation that joined up a few years ago, man. So I'm feeling for them right now, and it's just tough all around, man. It's a really, really tragic situation, and the best you can do is just try to pay tribute and take inspiration from it.
Yeah, no, it's heavy stuff. It's amazing to see something on CBS 2 where you talk about a firefighter and they bring these guys on there, and you look at how emotional the death metal guys are. People don't realize how much love is in this community for as hard as its exterior really appears to be.
Absolutely. I mean, I turn on CBS News and I see Chris Pravelis from Internal Bleeding talking about how that was his best friend. I mean, and he lost him and everything. And this is metal, and it's there's a lot of dramatic lyrics and artwork and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a music community like any other. We're all human beings.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's heavy hearts, heavy music. I mean, it all seems to kind of play itself out together, I think.
Yeah. If you're aware of all the nastiness and ugliness and violence and the shit that goes on in this world, I think it's only natural that you would appreciate what good you can see in it as well. You know, that much more.
Yeah, no, I hear that. So, with Infrared Horizon, tell me what. Take me through the songwriting process for you guys, you know, how you guys threw the album together.
Well, Dan Gargiulo, our one guitarist, he writes most of the material first, and he kind of presents a demo to our drummer and the other guys, and they learn the music. And since Dan is in revocation, he goes on tour a lot and writes on the road and emails things back and forth. So the writing process is a lot of the other guys writing the songs in the rehearsal room, and Dan kind of, you know, communicating through the internet and practicing when he's home. And I usually don't write any of the lyrics or vocal patterns till they have like a little instrumental that they recorded at the rehearsal space for me, you know. And then for this album, we decided earlier on that we wanted kind of like an artificial intelligence, dystopian robot theme. It's a very loose theme. It's not a linear storyline on the album. And when you say concept album, sometimes people have preconceived notions of that. It's more just every song deals with us this theme of artificial intelligence and kind of a far-shot future where humans are in the background or they're just done. They're non-existent at all, you know. And so as the songs came to me, I would try to write lyrics and come up with themes that represented the emotions of the songs and what the other guy's input was, and it came together, man. We got a good functioning unit, and we work pretty good together now. We've been together for a few years now, man.
Yeah, it certainly comes off like a well-oiled machine, you know, from start to finish. It's, you know, some people might find you know, technical death metal, if you want to call it that, to be, you know, a little too much to get into, and it's just like maybe a lot of musicianship, but maybe not the songwriting. But I really feel like this, you know, Infrared Horizon was just a good combination of the two. Really, you know, it put itself together, and it kind of helps you guys stand out a little bit more.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. And yeah, you know, something we always say in Artificial Brain is that the guitars have a heavy black metal influence. Those guys listen to a lot of Decibel and a lot of gore guts. Whereas the drums and the vocals, I think, are a little bit more of like the brutal death metal, grindcore neighborhood, you know. So there's a lot of varying influences in Artificial Brain, and I think over the years we've gotten a little bit better at tying them all together.
Yeah, no, I'm, you know, a lot of people have talked about it. You know, you talk about the good press. I know I listened to it for the first time yesterday, and I can certainly attest to the fact that, you know, it's a really, really strong, well put together death metal album. And it's funny because of the text messages you and I sent back and forth. You know, another band I know you're looking forward to, I am as well. I've never seen Immolation live.
Yeah. I haven't seen them in close to 10 years. I saw them on Long Island a long time ago once, and I'm looking forward to it too. We were playing closer to A World Below in the van driving down here, so we're just we're excited for that. And I mean, the rest of that lineup is pretty nuts too for that show later on, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I listened to Father You're Not a Father on Easter Sunday because somebody else posted it, and I was just kind of thinking about that.
yeah, man. Great, classic shit, man. And this show too with Piron and Die Chokin', they're both old touring buddies of ours, so this is a great little reunion for us, man. We're having a lot of fun.
So I mean, you know, like I said, you got the album, the release show today at the pre-show. You know, everything's looking good press. Anything you wanna close with, Will?
It's anybody that checks this interview out, just thanks for supporting Artificial Brain, and you know, I can't say thanks enough to all the people in the scene supporting it and buying the record and buying the merch and coming to shows and just all that stuff that I reiterate every time, man. But it's true, you know, like it's like I said, we would just be a bunch of guys doing this in our basement without all the people showing interest and support. And just a side note, my bass player, Sam from Artificial Brain, he's in a band called Luminous Vault that put out an EP, I think a single or an EP, I'm not sure what the terminology is, but they put out something recently on Profound Lore, and they're gearing up to do some things and touring. I got a band called Buckshot Facelift from Long Island, more of a grindcore band that just put out an album last week called Ulcer Island on Paragon Records. And I'm also singing for a band, a guttural kind of slam band called Afterbirth from Long Island that's putting out an album on Unique Leader this summer. So those are all my plugs for other related things we got going on, man. And just thanks so much for the interview, dude. Appreciate it.
No, we got to support everybody within the scene, no matter how big, no matter how small.
Let's get the handshake on audio. There you go. That's
there you go, guys. All right, it's time for Brutalitopia. Again, check out Artificial Brain's new album, Infrared Horizon, out now on Profound Lore.